What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about games to not expect at E3, a handful of games. I wanted to make a video specifically on Everwild, in that it seems like it was in a lot of trouble, but then I was reading some of the comments behind it, and there was a lot of people talking how the game, like, a lot of people already knew the stuff that was floating around. Now, I don't know if you guys knew this, I personally did not know that Everwild, when they first showed that trailer back in 2019, they didn't have a game back then. Now, I did not know that. It seems pretty confirmed by quite a few different people that is, in fact, true. Well, whether the game has done better over the last 2 years, that is to be decided, but I did not know that. I guess it was kind of widely known, though. But games like Everwild, games like Hellblade 2, that's a big one. And also our good old friend Elden Ring. Now that it doesn't have that Xbox connection. The first two obviously do have that Xbox connection. Those are some games that at least I've seen around the internet to not expect at E3. So let's talk about them individually, about maybe their problems, about when we could see them. So again, starting with Everwild, it sucks. I've actually, it's kind of more of a deep cut thing with me. You'd have to kind of go looking for it, but I'm a big fan of what we have seen with Everwild. Now, we haven't seen next to anything, but I love, well, firstly, Rare does a really good job. I'm not a big Sea of Thieves fan. I've never been able to jump in. I did actually buy it day one. I actually bought it on the computer, on the PC, and I enjoyed it, I guess, a little bit, but I didn't, it just wasn't a game that captured me. But visually, I love the way that they do their games, and Everwild has always stood out to me in terms of its looks. I've absolutely adored, and I've said that before, games like Kena, Bridge of Spirits, games like this. I love those kind of cel-shaded almost visuals, so I absolutely love how it looks, and I am disappointed. It seems like word on the street, whether you believe it or not, is that it's not coming out this year. It's not even coming out next year, so that definitely sucks. That by the time we end up actually getting it, it probably won't be until like 2023, like 4 years after they initially showed it. Now, you could say, you know, that is somewhat common. It kind of is, especially for Microsoft, for Sony. I don't know if we necessarily needed that for a game of this level. However, Everwild definitely could end up becoming, I guess that's kind of, like, I'm kind of being mean to it in a way, right? Or I'm kind of saying like it's a lower tier game. Really, I don't really think it is. I think it's going to end up being really, really amazing. But specifically for E3, again, the word is that don't expect it. Basically, don't expect it. Then you have Hellblade. And Hellblade and I believe Elden Ring both come from Jeff Grubb, right, our notable leaker friend. And I believe that. I believe it more with Hellblade than I believe it with Elden. I can't even believe that we're at the point where we're talking about Elden Ring potentially not being at E3. I think that's kind of sad. What happened to all the rumors of like it being almost done? All those people are full of not good things, right? Which sucks. Because I do want Elden Ring. I've said it before. I'm not good at these games whatsoever. Really, any of the From Software games, I'm not good at them. I haven't beaten any of them ever in my entire life. I don't plan on beating any of them in the future, but I do play them. I've played almost every single From Software game I feel like that's released in some capacity or another. So for Elden Ring, I'm for sure going to play it. Will I beat it? The odds are very, very low. But that sucks. That sucks. And in terms of that one, you know, when could we see it if not at E3? I feel like it's got to be soon, even just to re-show it. Like, I feel like for some reason, kind of the reverse of Everwild in a way, where it's like Elden Ring almost feels like it wants to, when it re-shows itself, that's like the big thing, and that's like the only thing, right? So it shows itself and it says, hey, we're out now. Like, we're coming out in 3 months. Here's a release date. Here's a bunch of gameplay. It feels like they are taking themselves like that, where they feel like they almost need, I don't know that for sure, but it just feels like we're at that point where From Software probably feels like it's all or nothing. Like, we're not even going to talk about it, show it, anything. Like, which, you know, their past games, they do have a history of having quick turnaround time, so I guess it's not it's not something that's completely, you know, unheard of from them. But I do feel like it could just be like, why can't we just have another trailer? Why can't we just have gameplay for it? You know what I mean? And then we actually then they can take their time, they can go away for a while, and then come back and then do it all, right? Or do everything else that they wanted to do. So that one has always kind of puzzled me. Hellblade is slightly annoying because I'm a big fan of the first game. That's one of the only games I've ever played with headphones on, with the PS4, like the official PS4 headphones. And I don't play games with headphones at all besides that game. And I always think back to that game because it's almost game-changing, and it's actually incredible, and I feel sorry that I've never done it before, specifically with Sony, I guess specifically PlayStation. I know Hellblade 2 is not going to be on PlayStation. It may not even be on PlayStation. If anything, it could just be an Xbox exclusive. But, like, audio is so cool, and you could be saying, well, why are you focusing so much on that? Well, her talking to herself nonstop in her own head is insanely cool, insanely kind of scary in a way in that game. So I know that's kind of like just a background of how much I appreciate the first game. But this game, remember, was announced, I believe, with the name of the Xbox Series X back at the Game Awards 2019. So this is another example of a game that like you feel like it probably should have been done at this point, or should be like getting there, and yet they have no plans. Again, it seems like, from what I've read at least, that this is another game that's just flat out not going to happen this year, and may happen next year, or maybe not. And that's just, that's the thing with Microsoft, and I give them so much credit. I really do, because I'm not anti any of these companies. I know some people will think I am. That's just flat out wrong. But I actually, I'm fine with Microsoft doing the exclusives. Sony does them. I'm perfectly fine with that. Microsoft does them. I'm fine with that. I follow the games. I've said that. That's kind of my motto, right, that I've developed slowly on these channels, is I go where the games go. At the same time, though, the issue with Microsoft is they have everything. They have all these studios. They have all these games. But they probably have the worst management of studios that you could have. And other people have said it. It's not just me. There's other actual big-time names that have said they don't believe Microsoft runs their studios all that well. And it's not even that it's not even that crazy to even think that. I know that, again, there's there may be Xbox fans that get really mad that I'm talking down to it. I mean, come on. You just because you like games from the company doesn't mean they're like your almighty God that you need to bow down to. I've never been like that. I really hope you guys aren't like that. I feel like they can take criticism, and that's the biggest thing with Microsoft. And I know, like, what does that have to do with Hellblade? Well, like, you announced this game. Everwild, kind of the same thing. Yeah, I know it takes time to make. I'm not saying it needs to come out tomorrow, but especially Hellblade, when you announce it with the console, and then for it to go dark as long as it has, and you don't talk about it, you don't show it. I feel like it's just bad management in that way, where I wouldn't really expect. Now you could say, like, maybe God of War Ragnarok is a slight comparison to Sony, but Sony kind of goes in order. They talk about Miles Morales, talk about Demon Souls, then they talk about Destruction All-Stars, then they talk about Returnal, then they talk about Ratchet. It goes in order. Yeah, God of War was announced, but like you never really thought that was the first one, right? Whereas for Microsoft, honestly, in terms of order, you would expect Halo Infinite and Hellblade. I'd argue those would be the two games that would be kind of in that first wave. And here we are still without next to anything on it. So somewhat disappointing, I would say, actually majorly disappointing, because I do want to play Hellblade 2, and I absolutely will. All three games that I mentioned in this video, I fully intend on buying day one, playing day one, all that stuff. So I'm not hating on anything just to hate. I'm not even really hating on it in general. It's just criticism. So let me know, guys, in the comments below, what do you think? Or, when do you expect these three games to be shown? When do you expect these three games to be released? All that stuff in the comments. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, so all these videos go up. And I do a brand new video on this channel every single day, and so I hope to see you guys for tomorrow's video.